All right. So let's go back to Aristotle, who surely everybody knows. And I wonder if you could even write down what I'm going to do next, right? It's a classic statement. All right. He said, all humans are mortal. Socrates is human. Hence, Socrates is moral. Not moral, mortal. Dies, right? Everybody's seen this before? And I'd be curious if we went back and talked to Aristotle, what kind of universes he was open to, right? I'm claiming that this logic follows no matter, what am I assuming? That humans are objects, but I don't know whether they're bananas or not, right? Mortal. Is he assuming that mortal means that you die? No, it's true no matter what you define mortal to be, right? It has nothing to do with the model, right? So this is what we're saying. We're saying for every object, if the object is human, then we're assuming that if the object is human, then it's mortal. We're assuming that Socrates is mortal. We don't know who Socrates is, right? But we can conclude that he's mortal, that whoever this object is, right? So here, to prove it's true no matter what, we have to have an arbitrary universe, right? We have to define the set of objects that we're considering to be human. We have to define what it means to be mortal, what it means to be Socrates, right? Which object is Socrates? So we have to define all of those things. And then what are we effectively proving? We're proving A and B gives me C, right? And you've all done the purple table. You're experts at it now. So how do you prove this? Deduction. You assume A and B, and you prove C. And more than that, when you assume A and B, you use separating ands to separate into A and to B, right? All right, so how might we do this? If we're doing it proof by cases, right? If A and B is false, then this sentence is automatically true, right? So by deduction, let's assume it's true. And during this, we're going to pretend for a while. You might say, why do I have these slides since we did the purple table so well? But maybe I made these slides before my purple table was so good, right? Or maybe people are jumping into these slides without doing the earlier slides, right? All right, so what are we doing? We have an oracle that assures us of this, right? And we have an oracle that assures us of that. And I write when I'm doing an informal proof on the board, I have these little circles which say who's doing what, right? But if you're writing this up on a test, you could still say line 1, right? You could still say deduction, right? Or you could, right? We're assuming these two statements, right? So, or you can put it in more English. You could say line 1, my oracle's assuring me of this, right? Line 2, my oracle's assuring me of that, right? And then you might have seen I posted yesterday a set of descriptions of questions, and what I always do when I'm making up a test, I write down the answer almost before I write the question, and then I say, what are people not going to not do what I'm doing, right? Because I want everybody to do exactly what I'm doing, so the marker's easy. And I noticed that I had a lot of statements. Hey, this is my goal. This is my goal, right? Why? Because if you're reading, the goal is usually down here in the proof, right? And having a little reminder once in a while what the goal is doesn't hurt, right? For example, I can say my goal is to prove all x something's true, right? So I could say that's my goal. And then I could say let x sub say for all be an arbitrary object. Then I can repeat what's my goal, right? My goal is to prove that the statement is true for this object, right? We can restate our goals periodically. And why are you doing that? Well, it could help the marker, but quite frankly, it could help you, right? To refocus what our goal is, right? So here I'm stating what's my goal, right? Right, but look at, I'm stuck. I don't know anything, right? So I come up to my oracle, and she is assuring me that something is true for all x, right? So what can I do? I can give her an object, x. And what do? I say, hey, let x be Socrates, right? And then she assures me that if Socrates is human, then Socrates is mortal, right? We've made it, instantiated it, right? And then the other oracle assures me that Socrates is human. And then from the modus ponens, I get this, right? So if you want to see how did I write this up on the test yesterday, I spent the whole day doing it. I might have even, this might be line 100 here because it's the end. And then what is line 100? It says, well, using modus, usually we say, I got this from a formal proof. I say, I got this from what rule, right? But you can put it in English as well. If in an informal proof, you can say, by modus ponens from line 1 and line, wherever it is, 5, right? I conclude this, right? It's still good to have line numbers. Everybody good? Everybody can do this on Wednesday, right? That's what we're looking for. You can do it, right? And we're done, right? Everybody good? Now, I'm always nervous about this done thing. Do we just stop? Well, the other possibility is to bubble back up, right? What does bubble back up mean? Well, you might say, well, I mean, in this case, I don't know what you bubble back up, but you could say, suppose, for example, if I said, I want to prove for all x, let x be arbitrary. I prove it for this arbitrary x, right? The bubble back up would be, oh, hence it's true for all x, right? But, it's okay to just stop. You play the game, right? All right. So, here, how would we write it down a little bit more formally, right? We say, by deduction, right? Here's our goal, right? Oh, and I guess I'm not doing the 100 thing in this proof, right? So I assume A and B. I separate the A. I separate the B, right? So this is just saying what the A was, right? This says for all x. And now, well, we haven't done formal things, but you can imagine I strip off the x and I plug in something, right? So using line 5 and removing it, I can say, well, if it's true for all x, it's true for Socrates, right? And then, well, B gives me that. And then modus ponens gives me that, right? And then we conclude, right? Everybody good? Makes it a little bit more formal, but same, right? All right. So the current version of the test, yeah. I might have gotten A and B mixed up. Here, I don't know. B. It looks like B to me. A, B. Are we good?
Professor, I have a question.
Oh, yo, God. Yeah?
Can you explain line 5?
Oh, line 5. See, here, why did this is something I do sometimes, and you can too, is I didn't write this whole thing here because it doesn't fit here, right? So people are going to have to assume that that's A and this is B and this is C. And then line 5 is just writing down what A is. Is that your question?
Oh, okay, that just makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Line 6, yeah, is where if we know the oracles, we know, right? We've got line 5 here already, right? And that means we know it already. And that means we're treating it as an oracle, right? We're using it. How do you use for all? Well, if you assure me something's true for all x, I will say, what about Socrates, right? And that's what 5 and 6 are saying. Oracle's assuring me for all x, and I'm saying, great, what about Socrates? And she says, yes, it's true for Socrates. This one down here? Yeah. So 6, no. No, so 7 we got from up here. And then 8 is modus ponens of 6 and 7. Is there a rule? No. See, the rule is 7 is B. 7 is our assumption. Well, here, right, so, yeah, so I wrote, right, we want to prove that assuming this, you get this, right? So I want to write down assuming this and this, right? But it won't fit on the slide, right? That's all we're doing here is we're getting it so it doesn't fit, so, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have that words on the slides anywhere, but yeah, I'm going to say yes, right? Or it's kind of removing the for all, right? It's substantiating, exactly. So if you wanted to use the word substantiating, that would be a good word, right? In fact, I think I used it just the other day on the test, and I had to Google how to spell it. Right, exactly, right? Instantiating. When I got the spelling, it told me the definition. It says making a general thing more concrete, right? Everybody kind of get this proof?